Hello, I'm Lauri Ann Lumby with Soul School, and this is Soul Lessons. In these short videos, I will offer mini lessons, as in MINI, mini lessons on a wide variety of spiritual topics. Topics related specifically to the evolution and the development of our soul being the uniquely gifted part of us that is called to seek out meaning, purpose, and fulfillment in our lives, and the journey through which we fulfill and ultimately embody that soul's calling. Our mini lesson today is on the map of the soul. I was reminded yesterday, working with a new client, that in our Western culture, we have a profound lack of information, knowledge, and access to knowledge on the path unfolding the predictable evolution of the human soul. The journey of the soul takes place in 4 stages. The first stage is when the soul comes into our human form. Soul, as we might think of it, as the divine spark, the presence of God, our own unique consciousness, by whatever way we define or understand that. The soul comes into our body at some point in our gestation or through the process of birth. And that is the first descent of the soul into the human form. That descent continues over the course of several, if not many years. Most specifically, the beginning stages of that descent facilitate and bring us into awareness of our individual personhood. It is thought of by developmental psychologists and also Eastern philosophers that the fullness of that identification and understanding of our individual nature happens within the first 7 years of our life. That descent of the soul, however, is not complete until we come into a place where we are fully aware of our individual self and have taken the time and the opportunity to explore our individuality. The second step or stage of the soul's unfolding is what I refer to as the first ascent. That first ascent is what some might call or identify as our spiritual awakening. The time when we begin to question and seek to discover and understand who we are and why we're here. Who are we? What is our unique giftedness? What do we have to contribute to this world? Also, part of that awakening is our seeking, our search to be reunited with that which we cannot name. In Western religious traditions, that which we cannot name has been called God. In Eastern traditions, it's been called Brahma, prana, presence, peace, contentment, or simply the state of being. Indigenous cultures might refer to it as the Great Spirit. By whatever name or image or concept that we understand that, it is the seeking of something beyond our ordinary human identification as individual and as a community. It's the transcendent. That spiritual awakening, that soul's awakening, drives us to seek a connection with that transcendence, ultimately coming into an awareness of union with that which is beyond, but also within us. A union that for many gives us an experience of a peace beyond understanding, a sense of contentment and joy, an experience through which all division is eliminated, just disappears, and where all we feel is this sense of oneness within ourselves, with the transcendent, and with all that is. Some traditions might call that ascension or enlightenment or nirvana. The soul's journey, however, does not stop at that union with transcendence, nor should it. We are not here as human beings to simply remember our oneness with transcendence. Instead, we are here to embody what that union means. That brings us into what I call the second descent. That second descent is the process through which we take that connection with transcendence and bring it into a lived, embodied experience. In order to do that, however, we have to move through the labyrinth, the maze, the mysteries of all the places within ourselves where we are divided. Transcendence seeks union, the human experience defined by division. In that second descent, we are invited to move through, identify, and transform all those places within us that are separate. Those things about ourselves that we've rejected or condemned, the unrealized parts of our soul, the gifts that have remained undiscovered, or perhaps were set aside because the world didn't quite know what to do with our gifts, or we were conditioned by society to believe our gifts didn't have value, or that we, as a human being, didn't have value. Ultimately, what we're doing is we are healing all those places within that have forgotten that they are loved. That second descent is an arduous journey. It is a journey of gold being tested in fire. We have to identify our temptations, the compulsions that dwell within us, non-loving behavior, thoughts, or actions towards ourselves, or non-loving behaviors that we have acted towards others. In that second descent, we heal our unhealed wounds, we transform our trauma, we untangle from societal conditioning, and we find our way, step by painful step, to a place of peace, contentment, joy, where the unity that we experienced in that union with transcendence is now lived within ourselves, where we have become whole, where we have become what the Gnostics called anthropos, where we have transcended our own inner division and brought it into union. The fulfillment of that second descent is a sense of inner sovereignty, where we are content with who we are. When we are tempted by self-doubt or confusion, we have the tools to find our way through it. We are able to trust our own inner guidance, our intuition. We have a sense of our own will. We have a sound sense and experience of discernment, able to identify what is ours and what is not, what is truth to us and what is not. In that place of sovereignty, we also know and feel comfortable in saying no when we need to say no, and setting boundaries around our own needs. In that place of sovereignty, regardless of what's happening around us, we feel content, we feel safe, we feel secure. We might even feel happy. And we definitely know joy. Because in that place of sovereignty, we have also found and discovered and anchored and taken root in our unique giftedness and how we are called to live that out in our world for the sake of our own meaning and fulfillment and in service to the betterment of our world. The final stage of the soul's journey is that journey towards death. That journey through which the soul escapes this flesh container and returns to source, whatever our understanding of that source might be. This is the map of the soul, a journey that is exciting and thrilling, painful and challenging, but ultimately what we are here to do and why we are compelled to do it. Thank you for turning into Soul Lessons. Again, I'm Lauri Ann Lumby with Soul School. Please follow my channel and check out the offerings that we have on my website, and that is www.lauriannlumby.com. Link is listed below, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.